Hey, it's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and thank you so much for joining me. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Carole, for sharing my post. I'm just about to talk about you. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on something that is happening on Saturday, the 25th of January. I am running, I'm sure it's a world first, as is often the case with me. I'm running an online FLP, so Future Life Progression Expo. And what that means is, in the same way you might go to a convention center, a mind, body, spirit event, and go to an exhibition center in person, this is where you can actually do it online. So I'm testing out a new platform. So I've really got to take my hat off to the speakers, because those of you who follow me, you know I play with a lot of technology. However, what I normally do when I'm testing is I will just run the event myself, so that if it doesn't all go 100% smoothly, I'm the one who just has to go, look, sorry, XYZ. I don't often rope other people into that process. It's just not fair. However, this platform is built as a multi-speaker online expo platform. So I thought the best way to test it out is to get some speakers in to join me and be willing to put themselves in a position where it might not go like clockwork as my events usually do. So I'm guessing many of you have never been to an online expo. So we have a main stage, we've got breakout rooms, we've got expo booths, and we've got speed networking. The speed networking is particularly cool because it's a bit like a dating app where you click to say, hey, I'm available to network, and the networking time is preset, so I can set it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. So you'll be on camera, someone will then appear on camera as well. The system selects them at random. And then what happens is, if you both like each other, as in you want to stay connected, like exchange LinkedIn details or email contact details, you both have to click the green button. So if one person clicks the green button, you don't get any contact details. But if you both click the green button, then the system will put their contact details into your account and vice versa. So we're going to be doing some speed network, and I just want to see how all of the parts fit together. I want to see how easy it is for speakers to log in, appear on the main stage, or appear in the breakout room. So if you have signed up, bear with us, because this is a test. That said, you're going to be getting real content and real information, because even when I run my test events, you're still going to get content. So it's not that we're just messing about. So let me tell you a little bit about what we've got going on with the speakers. Anne Jirsch, the creator of Future Life Progression, has very kindly agreed to speak. So Anne is our keynote speaker. I know many of you who are connected to me also know Anne. If you're not familiar with her work, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up about that in a moment as well. She is the author of several books, one of which is The Future Is Yours. She's just finished, or is putting the finishing touches to, her latest book, which is talking about future life progression in business, and also expanding more on intuition, which is a subject that she talks about a lot. So Anne is our keynote speaker. It wouldn't be a future life progression event without Anne. So really excited. Thank you, Anne, for agreeing to do that. We've also got the amazing author and ghostwriter Wendy Fry. Wendy is going to be talking about writing from the heart. Again, really, really excited about that, because writing a book is definitely on my to-do list. It's getting more and more on the come on, Marilyn, we really must do this list. So really looking forward to what Wendy is going to be sharing. And we've also got the amazing Carole Ritchie, who is going to be talking about using future life progression for parents and teachers. And so that is going to be incredible as well. Yeah, can't wait. So each of the speakers will be on for about 45 to 60 minutes, depending on how long they want to leave for taking questions from the audience, because you guys will be in the online chat room, so you can submit your questions. There's also, well, I'll speak to the speakers about that first, but there's also a facility, for example, where we could all be in a room together, and you could be on video, on camera, actually talking in real time. So we'll see if we want to experiment with that as well in terms of testing out the system. So Lots of scope for exciting stuff, and really, and this is one of the reasons why I want to test out the platform. I know there are a few system bugs already, so I'm going to have to take that in my stride on Saturday. But one of the things I really love about it is all the participants, for example, can come together and talk in real time on video, or it may be that you're speaking to someone in the chat room and you want to continue that conversation. And the way I'm going to set it up is you can actually set up your own breakout room. So you and that person or a group of people, I think you can have up to 10 people in a video in a breakout room. So you could maybe be having your own discussions as well when we close the main event and we're doing the breakout session. So lots going on. Now, let me just take you back a little step and tell you one of the reasons, well, a couple of the reasons why I'm really, really passionate about future life progression. So actually, let me pull this one up because this was a little bit crazy and mind-blowing. I use future life progression a lot for my clients. So a couple of years ago, I'd put together the first iteration, well, say a couple, it's probably 6 years ago now, actually, 5 or 6. I'd put together the transformation program. And as part of that, once we'd done the clearing work and the, letting go of negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and starting to get clarity about what you want, putting all in your future timeline, then went out to do some strategizing with the future self. And one of my clients, I was taking her through, she said, this visualization stuff doesn't really work for me. And I said, look, don't worry about it. And as you'll know, if you're a client of mine, when I say visualization, that doesn't mean as it sounds. So I basically said, look, just do the process. Let's see what happens. So take her out into her future timeline. And then we kind of cleared that up. And then we went out and did a future life progression session. So she's in the session where dialoguing with the future self, and she said, there's a man. And just to take it back a step, one of the things she wanted to do is connect with someone who worked with high net worth individuals. So we're in the future life progression session. And she says, there's a man, because I asked, is there anyone who's instrumental for you that will be good for you to meet? And she says, there's a man. And she said, he's wearing a black suit. And they should, actually, no, hang on, it's not black, it's deep blue. At which point I went, hold on a minute, she's just spent loads of time arguing with me that she's not visual. And now she's going, it's not black, it's deep blue. And I'm like, all right then. And then she says he's wearing, pink tie, matching handkerchief, the socks. And I'm like, okay, so this is someone who's not visual. Then he said his name. And she also mentioned he had really shiny shoes. So now at this point I'm laughing because I'm like, this is the woman who has just been arguing with me that this isn't going to work because she's not visual. But if you're one of my clients, we know we got ways and means of getting around that and opening up the psyche and the neurology. So we do the session, fine. A couple of days later, it's late. I'm just on my way up to bed. And in those days, I had a BlackBerry still. Yeah, don't judge me. And the BlackBerry went off just as I was about to switch it off. And it said, can you check your notes? And there was like 20 exclamation marks. So I'm like, okay. She says, I've just been to a networking event. There was a guy there. And after she'd finished speaking, presenting, because if you know Erica, she's an incredible speaker. We'd done some coaching around that when she'd been invited to do a TED talk and was petrified. So we did some coaching around that. And now she's one of the best speakers I know. She's incredible. So she said, this guy made a beeline for me, and it was almost like the parting of the way. She said, as he walked towards me, I immediately noticed the color of his suit. It was the same deep blue that I had seen in the future life progression session. She then says she sees the shoes, the shiny shoes, the same shoes she'd seen in the future life progression session. So as she's working her way up, he's wearing the same color tie with the matching handkerchief, etc. He then introduces himself, and this is what she wanted me to check in the notes. And he said his name was Paul. And so she said, what was the name of the guy in the future life progression session? And I said, his name was Paul, because I went back. I've always, as you guys will know, there's always my trusted black and red notebook. So I went back through her notes and I checked and I said, yes, his name's Paul. So she then gets home. About 45 minutes later, I get another message. She's like, oh my God, she just checked his website and she sent me the link. Very minimalist. So it says, hey, welcome to website. My name is Paul XYZ. And then the strap line was, I work with high net worth individuals, which is exactly the thing we had been talking about. And so, you know, mind blowing. I had another of my clients, some of you might know Lisa. She also did the transformation program, and we did a future life progression session, and she was talking about, you know, thinking about moving house, and her future self showed her a white house on a hill. No, sorry, let me get that right. A white stone house on a hill with 2 entrances, one through which the public could enter. Very specific. Fine. Year or so later, she moves house. Guess what house she moved into? She's still there today, I presume. I think it's the same house she lives in now. It was a white stone house on a hill with 2 entrances, one through which the public can enter. Now, the reason the 2 entrances was key and important, because Lisa has husband, children, pets, she wanted to be able to see people at home, maybe even run small groups, but didn't want them walking through the family home. And so the way her house is configured, there's a separate entrance that brings you right directly into a meeting space, which doesn't then impact on the family home. And it was one of those goosebump moments, because we had recorded the session using Lisa's teleseminar line, and some other things happened as well. And I'm like, and at one point I quoted something to her. She went, "Where did you get that from?" And I went, "Your future life said it a couple of weeks ago." I said, "Go back and check the recording of our previous session." Crazy. So just mind-blowing stuff. So we'll talk about a little bit of that on the FLP Expo. Another thing, and let me just show you this one from Jirsch, because again, particularly, it'll kind of hairs stand up on the back of your neck when you hear these stories in person, and I'm sure Anne will share some of them with you on Saturday. Anne works with stock traders to predict the markets, and she said they will do a future life progression session, so they go out into the future to predict the trade. She says you can then line those trades up on those dates, and it's pretty much identical, which is just amazing. Anne has worked with several celebrities working on their future projects. I won't name them, she can name them herself for those for whom she's allowed to. I don't know if she's going to have time to share this with you on Saturday, but I am, you know, we'll probably do another one of these at some point. But Anne and 2 of her colleagues, both of whom were in the military, they saw 9/11 before it happened. They were doing a group future life progression session. So all in the same room, but on their individual journeys, they all saw exactly the same thing. So if Anne's got time, she may tell you about that on Saturday. And she also predicted that there will be a black president followed by a blonde one. So it's just crazy cool stuff. It is, you know, future life progression is incredible, and you're going to be able to hear a lot more about it. And I think of it almost like as it's for me when I'm using it for my clients, if I'm using it as part of the transformation program or a breakthrough session, or maybe the Power of 4 program where you do various other things, but we culminate that with a future life progression session, so you can put the soul plan into context, the tarot reading into context, etc. It's like time travel. And it really is oftentimes a strategy session. I remember I had one client who was not interested in writing a book, went out into the future. Her future self mapped out the book, the idea, the main content. She came back into the room and was like, "Oh my God, I could totally write that book, and I'm actually excited about it." So, you know, it is a bit of a real look out into the future, and the specifics that people often get, as I said, absolutely incredible. So it's going to be a fabulous event. If you would like to register for the event, when you click on the bit.ly link, which is also scrolling along the bottom of the screen, www.bit.com/FLP, as in future life progression, FLP Expo, EXPO. This is the page that you will land on. It's on the right hand side. It'll be a green button if you haven't already registered, but you click on that link, it will register you on the system. On Saturday, use the same link, and once the expo is open, you just click on the link. But once you've registered, you'll know, because it will say "you're in green letters. I don't know if you can see my cursor moving there, but if you can, it's there. So that's where you register if you would like to join us on Saturday. It's a live event, so it's not one where you go, "Oh, can I have a recording?" It it's live. It's like an expo. Like if you went to the Mind Body Spirit event at, let's say, Earl's Court or Olympia, something like that, once it's over, it's over. This is a similar concept, and you'll also find a bit of information on the page about our speakers as well, just so you get a little heads up of who's going to be talking. But it's going to be amazing, even if I do say so myself, and fingers crossed, because I already know the platform has got some system bugs in it, because I've tested it a few times just doing some smaller individual events. So it's cool. If you're registering, just be aware that it's a test, even though it's a real expo as well. So if there are any glitches, it's all good. We're going to take it in our stride. And in terms of what's coming up next after we've done the FLP Expo, I've got my second interview with the incredible Greg Braden coming up. That is on Monday, the 17th of February at 6 p.m. UK time. I did the first interview with Greg actually last January. I really should have done several more last year. I don't know what happened. The time just went. It's crazy, because we did the first one as a one-off, and at the end of it, number one, Greg's very tight for time. His schedule is just off the charts in terms of the international travel and everything that he speaks at, the books that he's writing, the stuff that he does for Hay House, etc. And we got to the end and he says, how are we doing for time? And I said, oh, we're good. We got about another 7 or 8 minutes. And he says, could we go a bit longer? I was like, yeah. So he extends the time. He says, it's my press day today, but I don't have anything for another half an hour, whatever it was. Really love to stay and continue the conversation. And then at the end of that, he then said to me, this was fun. We should make this a regular thing. Can we do another one? I'm like, duh. Greg Braden is asking me if we, I'm like, yeah. And then just didn't get around to scheduling it last year. So it was high on my list. Schedule it in. Let's sit down with Greg Braden. So for those of you who are in my membership group, my Facebook membership group and the online membership group, I've put a post in there yesterday. So if you have a question for Greg, please let me have it. And then once I've got the questions in from the membership group, if you've got a bit more capacity, I'll put something out to my e-newsletter list so you can submit your question, because what I did last time is that as well. And I put the individual questions to Greg. And if you know Greg, he's got an incredible answer for everything. And he was so appreciative of your questions as well. It was quite amazing. And if you haven't listened to the first interview, it's on my podcast. What I'll do later on, I'll put a link to the podcast under this video or in the comments if it's on Facebook, and you can get a flavor of who Greg, he's a prolific author. So and it's Greg, G-R-E-G-G, Greg Braden, and just type him into Google, you'll be inundated with stuff about Greg. So that's the next thing that we've got coming up live after the FLP Expo. And if you have any questions, if you've got any queries, or if you want to be notified about future, actually, no, that's not true. I was going to say, don't email me if you want to be notified about future events. Go to the website, sign up for the e-newsletter. But if you've got questions or queries, it's Marilyn. My email address is Marilyn, MARILYN, at transformationstm.com. And it's TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance, formations, F for Freddy, so FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark.com. So Marilyn at transformationstm.com. Main website is www.transformationstm.com. And if you wanted to join us for the FLP Expo on the 25th of January, it's on the ticker tape now. It's www.bit.ly.com/FLP Expo. You can follow me on social media for information about future events, etc. It's /Marilyn Devonish, and Devonish is D-E-V for Victor, O-N-I-S-H. The reason I'm spelling it out, because I can probably hear some of you now going, dude, it's on the screen. People are sometimes listening rather than watching, and there are times where I strip out the audio, so people are just getting this as an audio rather than seeing the screen. And it's /Marilyn Devonish on social media. The only place that's different is Instagram, where it's the NeuroSuccess Coach. So yeah, keep in touch. If you're joining us on Saturday, myself and Anne and Wendy and Carole really look forward to working with you and taking you and giving you a glimpse out into your future. Yeah, cool. And for, information, updates about anything else that is going on, my suggestion is sign up to my e-newsletter, because that's the place where if I'm doing stuff like this, where I'm running free events, where I'm running tasters, if I'm looking for people to try out new processes that I've created, that's where I go to get my volunteers, my e-newsletter list, and you get the heads up on anything else that's happening, special offers, early booking prices, discounts, etc., that are different to the prices that I put out on social media. So you can sign up via my website as well. There's a box on the left-hand side. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me. If you can't make it on Saturday, oh well, never mind. It'll be lovely to have you, but hey, that's life. And if you know anyone who might benefit from joining us for the Future Life Progression session, or if you know anyone who's a fan of Greg Braden, please feel free to share the link to this video. That would be amazing. And yeah, look forward to connecting with you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.